Hey guys, welcome back to Love and Junk. I'm John,
I'm Laura.
and today we have another top 10 type of
Well, it's
video.
a list. I think it's more than 10.
We have a list video for you.
Yeah. So these are things that I think it's actually 12. So you get a couple bonus. 15 if you count the other bonuses we already included. But these are our top Netflix binge-worthy shows.
Yeah.
That we're watching.
Right.
Not of all time. Things come and go off of Netflix. And certainly there are classic shows that we did not consider. We didn't consider, Friends or anything from the past. These are all currently, pretty sure. I'm double checking my list. These are all things that are current on there as new or trending or have been so in the last couple of years or new finds for us.
Yeah, a lot of them are new finds for us. We'll go through and find a good show, and then we will watch it until there aren't any more of them, and then we'll find something else.
Or sometimes we'll go through and find a bad show, but we keep hoping it gets better.
Right.
And then we have to know how it ends, right? Once you're invested, you're 4 or 5 episodes in, you're like, well, now we have to know who the killer is or whatever. But by and large, these are ones that we actually enjoy and watch. And some we're watching right now. So we're not going to spoil any of these for you.
Hopefully.
We're just going to tell you the premise of the show.
Right.
We should have had John in a shot collar in case he goes to spoil something. But let's talk about, we'll get some bonus ones out of the way, ones that we assume everybody on the planet has already watched.
Right.
But if not, they're worth watching.
Yeah, and these are the ones these are the shows that everybody's watching, and you get through the season that's up, and then you're like, what do I watch now?
Right.
So that's what we're trying to give you some ideas about.
And we're so gluttonous, right? We do not watch, there's a couple shows that we're hooked on right now that we are current, and so we're being fed one episode a week. Like The Masked Singer is a good example of that.
Yeah, and the new show on CBS, Emergence.
So if you don't watch those, you should check those out. But we hate it. Don't you hate it? Like having to wait for a show. Yeah. We're so spoiled, and remember that as kids, you had to watch the commercials, or you could put in a VHS tape and hope that you remembered to cut the commercials out. But then you still had to watch to be able to cut the commercials out.
Yeah, and then if you try to pause the recording to cut the commercials out, sometimes you forget to turn it back on, and then you miss part of it. Oh, it's a horrible thing.
What a nightmare. And if you are younger than VCR time, boy, are you lucky. So here's the bonus ones. So Black Mirror is one of our favorite shows.
Yeah. We like the first 2 or 3, 4 seasons. The 5th one was 3 episodes.
Yeah, and I guess what I'll say about Black Mirror, they're independent episodes, right? So different actors and actresses, different plots. Some of them we like a lot and I wish there was a series about. They can make a series about this whole premise of this, and some not so much. So we like the concept. They're all futuristic kind of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like Twilight Zone, but with futuristic type things that could possibly be in our future. So
right. So we like it very much. Some episodes more than others.
Yeah.
But that's worth watching.
And a lot of people know about that, so that's not really on our list.
Yeah, these are bonuses. There's 3 of them. The next one
is Ozark, and we really love that. Jason Bateman.
Show. Yeah, we binge that when it comes out. The rest of these we're going to talk about. We watch an episode of this one, an episode of this one. When Ozark is out, we can sit and watch 2 or 3.
Right. Yeah.
But go ahead, Jason Bateman.
He's in it.
Yeah, he's in it.
Yep.
And let's see, how can we, it's hard to describe something and not give a spoiler. He's got himself into some trouble.
He's a financial guy.
Right.
And he basically launders money.
And he has moved his family to the Ozarks.
Hence the name.
Right, that's why it's called Ozark. And and his family keeps getting deeper and deeper. At first he doesn't want anyone to know, then they start finding out bits and pieces, right? And so it's how can he balance his family being in danger and them knowing enough so that they can protect themselves, and who else knows about what's going on, and how are they going to get out of it, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're supposed to be coming out with another season soon-ish.
Yeah, so if you don't watch that, check it out.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yep.
And then there's this little known show
called nobody knows about
Stranger Things. Again, this is a bonus. We assume that everybody is watching that. If not, totally go check it out. It gives me old-time 80s feel when I watch it.
Yeah.
How it's... I don't know, how it's shot, basically, and what they wear, and it kind of reminds me of, like, the Goonies in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, for sure. It definitely has that vibe.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of, like, stuff. If you grew up in the 80s, you watch and, like, see to the clothes they wear, to, like, going to the mall, and the music and everything.
Yeah. And so it's about a group of kids that are best buddies, hang out all the time, and something supernatural is going on in their town and with them, and how is it going to affect them? Can they overcome it? I don't know. What else would you say without giving anything away? That's about
it. I mean, everybody's seen it, so.
Right.
Let's move on to our list.
Okay, so those three are just bonus because we assume you watch them, but if you haven't, check those out for sure.
Yeah.
So the first one that we are watching currently is Glitch.
Yes.
And can I say something quick and then I'll have you explain it?
Go ahead.
Okay, what I was going to say is on Netflix, right, a lot of the things you're searching for new and you find a lot of things that are foreign. Right? Yeah. And some of that, foreign to us, we're Americans. And so sometimes we're turned off if something's in a different language. But more than that, if the mouths do not match the subtitles, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So
it could be a great show, like, for example, the show Dark. And I think it's German, maybe. And so, like, the voices don't match. The voices in English don't match the mouths. And that... I hear it's a great show, but I can't get past that.
I know, and maybe it's the same for you when you try to watch a show. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe everybody experiences that, but this is an Australian show, and so it's worth giving it a try. It's not like that.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
we like it.
Yeah.
So basically, in the small town in Australia, there are, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 people that crawl out of their graves and they are alive again. But
they're not zombies.
Right, and some are like 200 years old or have been dead for 200 years, and then, others are more
like 2
recent.
years. Yeah.
So, and they're not zombies. They're just, walking about. And so it's an interesting show.
They have no memory. So they don't know who they are, what happened to them, how they died, why they're brought back. They don't even know until they're told that they've come back to life and that they have died. So it's kind of broken up into each segments about each of these characters. Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're apart, but it's exploring each one's life and what happened in their past, how they died, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think there are 3 seasons, and I think that's it. I think they might be done now. But.
Yeah, so that's an interesting show. It's not terribly gory. It's kind of a mystery, and you want to know, why are all these people back, and what happens to them, and what happens if they die again, and they're trapped in this area. They don't understand why. When they try to leave, bad things happen to their bodies, and so they're stuck in this area, and they don't know why. They're trying to figure out, and they have some townspeople trying to help them, and some are against them. As you can imagine, if people just came back from the dead, people don't understand why they're back, and so.
But it is a mystery.
Yeah, and that's a good show. We are watching it currently.
Yep.
Okay, so next on our list is In the Dark.
Yeah, we love that.
We do love that. And, John is a little busier with work than I am, and so every once in a while we get really itching for new shows, and we just came up with the whole group, and we tried several, an episode or two. This one we really got hooked on.
Yeah, and we just started it.
Yeah. So In the Dark is about a woman who has a lot of social issues. She drinks a lot, she sleeps around a lot, she's pretty crass, let's say. She's not the nicest human. She's blind, and
hence the name In the Dark.
Right.
She's blind.
Right. And she has she has a couple of good friends that she's letting closer. She's pretty protective of herself. And one of her good friends goes missing. And it's somebody that she thinks maybe is dead, and we don't know either, so we're not going to spoil it. We don't know if he's dead or not, but it's her exploring what happened to this person, and is anybody going to help her, and
right.
So that's basically what would you say about it?
I would say that the show seems pretty witty. It's funny, it's crass, but not too bad.
She has a cute relationship with her roommate.
Right.
And she has a seeing eye dog named Pretzel.
Yeah.
That's adorable. So.
Right. But there's some humor involved in it, but it's really interesting. I think the storyline is interesting. Every episode so far has been very interesting. So I hope they keep it up. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so next on our list, we were recommended by our friend Monkey. If you're watching, hi Monkey.
Yeah, hi Monkey.
It's a show called Happy, and I don't know how we're going to explain this show, but John's going to try.
So, I think one of the main stars is Christopher Maloney, and he was on Law and Order SVU.
SVU.
Yeah, I would say SUV because I'm funny like that. But so he's a hitman. He's like a down and out cop. Something happened. We don't know what yet, but he got fired or quit or something. But now he's a hitman, and he goes around and he's like drunk all the time. And
speaking of crass,
yeah,
he's very rough around the edges.
Right, and so. The show kind of starts with him that way, and then there's a little girl, and the little girl gets kidnapped, and that is his daughter, and she has an imaginary friend, and so this imaginary friend actually comes to life and goes to find her father to have him come save her.
Yeah, because he knows what's happened to her,
right.
And so he's trying to help her.
And he's a cartoon character. It's a unicorn.
Yeah, voiced by Patton Oswalt. If you know who that is, a lot of people know who that is.
It's gory. It's violent. It's funny.
Yeah, it's very mature rated. But if you like, what am I trying to say? Like in Kingsman, where there is humor and then you turn around and somebody's getting their head cut off. It's that kind of, it's not exactly the same, I don't mean it's like that, but it has humor in it, and but also a lot of blood.
Yeah.
So far, but we're new into that one.
Yeah, we're new into it, but it's something that we'll keep watching.
Yeah, definitely. So next on our list is Love, Death, Robots.
Yeah, and so Love, Death, Robots. Part of it is live action, part of it is cartoon. It's kind of similar to Black Mirror in that each episode is its own show or entity or whatever. It's not like a serial show or anything like that.
And the episodes are 10, 12 minutes long.
Yeah,
they're very short. So you can sit down and watch a couple of them and not invest a whole lot of time.
Right. And it's similar to Black Mirror in that it's futuristic, it's kind of Twilight Zone-ish. There's, I don't know. We've seen a few episodes and they were interesting.
Right. It almost reminds me of watching cartoons when you're a kid where the episodes are so short. Like the timeline, it goes by like that because they're only 10 minutes from start, middle, and the conclusion are only 10 minutes long. So some of those that, I would imagine some we will like better than others, but what we've seen, we've liked. So that might be worth giving a try. And we are pretty nerdy kind of people. We also like to cook. So these shows are mostly kind of futuristic, sci-fi. We like drama.
We like drama, mystery, kind of.
Right.
If it's interesting, we'll usually watch it.
Right. So anyway, we'll get through these and we'll talk a little bit more. But this is the one and only comedy we have on our list.
Yeah. For now we watch comedies too, but this is Schitt's Creek.
If you haven't seen that, which I think is becoming more and more popular, so maybe you've seen it, but if you haven't, I feel like this show is polarizing. I could be wrong. Not because of the content, but I think a lot of comedies are polarizing. Either you like a particular kind of comedy or you really think it's dumb and don't like it, don't you think?
Yeah.
I didn't know what I thought about it. It took me a while to get into it, a couple of episodes.
Right. When it first started, we watched it and we were like,
it's okay.
I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it really does grow on you, and the characters grow,
I think they develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They develop. But so Schitt's Creek is about this family that were super, super rich, and then they were super, super not. And everything got taken away from them. They didn't have a home, they didn't have their cars, basically they had the clothes on their back and just a few personal property. And then they found out that they still own this town called Schitt's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just this little tiny podunk town, and they move there and live in the motel.
Which is like a roadside motel, that hasn't been updated since the 60s or 70s.
Right.
It's very rundown.
Yeah. And so, each episode has them interacting with the town, and all the townies are a bunch of weirdos. And
it has Chris Elliott in it. He's the mayor. Eugene Levy.
Yeah, Eugene Levy is the main character. He's the dad.
And then his son is in it too, Daniel.
Yeah, his actual son.
Yeah.
Is in it.
His actual son plays his son.
Yeah.
And Catherine O'Hara is the mom, and she's really quirky and odd and
has a weird accent.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's very flamboyant and always has on a different wig and a different look and is way over the top for this very small town.
Yeah, and the whole family's way over the top for the small town.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's worth a watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, I think, fifth season just dropped, and I think that's it after the fifth season.
Yeah, and we are current with that. We started it and we binged it, and because I don't know how you guys watch TV, but before I go to bed, I want to watch something happy, funny, light, so that I don't go to bed dreaming of serial killers or people getting their heads blown off or zombies, or I don't want to watch any of that before I go to sleep. I want to watch something funny, so we can watch all of our dramas, and then at the end it's something happy. And right now, that's the happy before we go to bed.
Right.
Speaking of serial killers.
Speaking of serial killers, the next one on our list is Mindhunter. I know a lot of people are familiar with that. A lot of people like that. We like it too. And basically the show is about the very starts of the FBI, like their behavioral unit where they do profiles and stuff. And so they're going around and interviewing a bunch of serial killers that are in prison. Yeah.
Yeah. Charles Manson.
Yeah. It's good. Though,
yeah, I guess I won't name a whole bunch of them. But they interview these people, and it also is when the Atlanta childhood murders happen.
Yeah.
in the 70s, 60s, and early 70s is when it takes place.
Around the 70s, yeah.
And so it's set in the past, so there's also that nostalgia feeling of like the cars and everything.
Everybody's smoking everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, but it's really well written, really well done. It starts off, to me, it got way more interesting as it went on. At first, they're kind of interviewing some people, and that's interesting. I have a serial killer, I would say, fascination, or like what? I should say that differently. I always want to know what made them a serial killer,
right?
And what happened in their life. Because are you just born like that, or what happened to them? Or
and
could they have been saved? And that's exactly what they want to know too.
Right. Yep.
You know, I think that's
that's good.
That one. So the newest one on our list that we just started watching, you can talk about it.
No, you go ahead.
It's
your turn.
It's called Raising Dion, and it's about a little boy and his mom, and they discover that he has some powers.
Yeah.
And
we're very new with this. It just came out on Netflix. So we've seen a few episodes. I think,
yeah. But their relationship is sweet. You know, the mom doesn't know what's happening or why it's happening, and the little boy doesn't either, and he is not at all in control of his powers.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, hopefully he'll get them under control. I don't think he's aware he has powers, but he doesn't really know how to use them or how to stop them.
Yeah, and he's a really little boy, so.
Oh, he's adorable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not like 14 or something like that. He's tiny. He was,
I don't know how old he actually is, but my guess is around 6.
Yeah.
Or so. Adorable. So, anyways, you should check that out. Raising Dion is that one.
Next, what do you want to do?
We can do The Island.
Sure. So The Island is on Netflix. It's a limited feature, I guess. A limited series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I-Land, if that helps you.
Yeah. The I-Land.
Yeah.
And let's see. It starts out and it kind of feels a little bit like Lost.
Very much.
Yeah, there's an island. People wake up on the island. They don't have any memories. They don't know who they are, what they are, how they got there.
Why they're there.
Yeah, and there are like things that they find on the island, and then they just, as the episodes go, they try to, or they just discover more and start looking into it more. It's interesting. I will let you know I was a little disappointed at the end of it, but.
Yeah. I mean, for me, they could have done so much more with it. You do find out, it's kind of like Glitch in that you're finding out it's revealing what happened to each one and why they're there.
Right.
You do find out why they're all there, and kind of what happens to them. And I don't know. It maybe because if you're a fan of Lost, it's gonna fall short for you.
Right. Yeah, that could be.
And it starts off one way, and then you realize what it's about, and it's not so much about what happens in their survival stuff and them figuring out how to get off the island. It is less about that and more about why they're there.
Right.
Is what I'll say,
Yep.
without ruining it.
Yeah. So, it was good enough that we went through it. I agree that I think that they could have done a lot more with it.
Yeah. Good premise, but it just falls flat.
Yeah. But you can check it out. We were able to watch the whole thing, so it wasn't that bad.
And I have heard my oldest loved it. So
right.
Some people really like it. And if you did like Lost, I would give it a shot. Maybe if you like that kind of thing, you will like it. I did like Lost, but this just isn't done as well as Lost.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
But still a good show, and we still watch the whole thing.
Yep.
Next, we're going to take a turn now, is Nailed It.
Yeah, Nailed It is hilarious.
Yeah, and it is a baking competition show, and if you haven't watched it, you should. I don't even think you have to like baking.
Right. No, you don't.
It is a reality show where there's 3 bakers They're all pretty bad at it, and they're given something that they have to replicate.
Yeah, usually it's like a Pinterest thing, something that's been on the internet, like a unicorn cake or something like that.
Yeah. So they're not using their imagination and coming up with whatever. They're supposed to replicate specific things, and it's usually not so happy.
Yeah, and nailed it. No, most likely you didn't.
Right. Pinterest fail.
Yeah.
But it's fun and it's lighthearted.
It's light. It's a good show to watch, like to have in the background if you are doing something else.
Yeah. So in the same vein, but serious, would be Sugar Rush.
Yeah, Sugar Rush. It's fun. Again, it's a baking competition, and they call it Sugar Rush because it's time.
And it's baking.
Yeah, and there are 3, what do you call it, sections to it, or 3
like
judging
events or whatever.
Yeah. So they have to bake 3 different things, but the clock keeps running for like 2 of them, and whatever time you have left at the end, then they add that to like 2 hours for the big
cake
final,
or whatever they have to do. So in the beginning, if they have to make a confection, the sooner they get it done, the more the clock stops, and then they have that leftover time for the second event. So it's a balance of hurrying and get it done and making it good enough to get into the next round.
Right. Yep. Good show.
Yeah, we like it, and that is a serious. They have 3 teams of 2 on that show. If you enjoy baking.
Yeah, it's serious but lighthearted. It's still fun
But I mean, those people can really bake.
Yeah.
Compared to Nailed It.
Yeah, for sure they can.
So next are also a couple of other reality shows, but in a different interest, I would say, a different interest of ours. And they are Instant Hotel and Stay Here.
Yeah. Instant Hotel is another Australian show.
And we really, really like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Do you know how to describe it?
Sure. There are couples, I don't remember now if it's 4 or 5 couples. Couples being, they could be in a relationship, they could be, some of them are mother and son or brother and sister or whatever, but teams of 2. And they all have a Airbnb.
Like an Airbnb,
Basically.
Yeah.
And a rental, a vacation rental. They all have one.
There you go.
And so it's how all these people come and stay at each other's B&Bs, and they all rate each other's, and then to go to the end for the final to get a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Basically.
They're supposed to take the input from everybody visiting and then make changes, and then they come back for the final judging.
Right. So
it's really cool.
They get judged by their peers, and then they have 2 official judges.
Yeah. So some of the places are themey, they have an Americana type vibe, and then other ones are luxurious, and some are beachy, and they travel all over Australia, so it's pretty cool to see that.
And they rate them on, I don't know all the criteria, but one of the things that they rate them on is the recreation and what's there to do near the Airbnb. So you see them look around the place. There's always some kind of food, whether or not the rental, the owners set it up for them or send them somewhere, or they cook themselves or whatever. There's always some kind of meal, some sort of excursion.
Right.
And so they're rated on all of that stuff.
Yeah. And then along kind of the same vein is Stay Here, which is more a show about struggling vacation rentals, and then they come in and renovate them for them.
Right, and Genevieve Gorder, if you know who that is from Trading Spaces, is the host of that show. And so, they go in and they make a bunch of changes and hope to help their bottom line. Yeah,
and it's really cool to see the changes that they make, and how different it looks, and how you can make something just look more inviting, more spacious, more luxurious. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I think for that show, you don't have to be. We have considered doing an Airbnb.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be. If you like to travel, if you like to stay, if you're considering staying in Airbnbs, it might be different things to consider. We just enjoy it. It has nothing to do with, we enjoy both of those.
Right. Yeah, we can't wait for the next season of Stay Here to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our list
That's our
for
list,
now.
guys.
So there's some drama, a little comedy, a little reality.
And this is all on Netflix, so maybe we'll go through and do a Hulu.
Yeah, because we watch
soon.
Hulu too.
Yeah.
But that's everything we're watching on Netflix currently that we think you should check out. And if you have seen any of these shows and like any of these shows or tried them because of our recommendation, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what you thought of any of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe so that when we do put out the Hulu video, you can be notified.
Right.
And
you're going to need to hit the little bell
ding!
if you want to be notified of our new downloads, uploads, whatever they are.
Yeah.
See, you always do that part. So.
I know. You just ran with that. I was okay with that.
I wanted to hear you say ding for once.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well. We try to post there daily so you can see what else we're up to.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, we're Love and Junk with no D, LOVEANJUNK. Yeah. Now, if you like to watch TV, or Netflix, or any of these shows we mentioned, or us, give this video a big thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs up because I like all that stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's all we have for today.
That's it, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.